Mic check.
Hi, Matt.
What's going on, brother?
I'm sure you know how a microphone works, but these ones work best when you like talk right into them.
Okay.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for being here, man.
Man.
Yeah. Welcome to the Creatives, everybody. Welcome back. This is episode 4 of, I guess, season 1 of the Creatives. This podcast is a project that, I'm endeavoring on in hopes to explore creativity, explore creative people, creative processes, and kind of just see like, where does energy come from? How is it kind of nurtured? Where is it going? What do we all have in common? And kind of like, what can we all learn from each other? So
For sure.
I'm very happy that you're here today. You and I go way back many years. So thank you for being here.
Appreciate being here.
Yeah. So Matt, why don't we kick it off with, can you introduce yourself? Tell us what makes you a creative.
My name is Matt Kyazze. I'm from the city of Ottawa. I originally created a company called Far From Average. We started as a creative agency where we specialize in media production, event management, artist management, and clothing. And now I've recently opened a recording studio / video production studio here in Bell's Corners called BPM, standing for branding, production, marketing. So
that's amazing.
It's been a long journey.
That's such a play on like the acronym of BPM, because isn't that beats per minute?
Exactly.
But branding, production, marketing.
Mm-hmm.
That's layers, man. That's onion.
Yeah,
like
man.
That's so many layers. That's amazing.
It's been crazy.
Yeah.
And now it's just kind of just solidifying the studio, solidifying and recreating FFA, and kind of just organizing everything as a whole to make sure they kind of balance off each other.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember back in the day when you started FFA, was it kind of like a little passion project, or what started that, and where does the name even come from?
I started with my best friend from back in the day, Ryan McDonald, and the whole idea was to create a platform where we could showcase Ottawa from our vision, but also showcase places that we hang out where you don't have to spend any money. You know what I mean? Like this is 2013, so I was 18 years old. You know what I mean? We're not trying to spend money all the time. So we're
exactly.
Hang out and go outside. So the idea was just to, the idea was to showcase Ottawa, but this is when Instagram was obviously like a couple of years in.
Yeah.
And I had the vision of Instagram was based off phone photography.
Okay.
So we had the HTC, I think M8. It was like one of the first phones I ever had with 2 cameras on it. It was crazy. So
that's nuts.
All our photos were off our phone, and we were taking like cool, trendy photos. We were like slight Tumblr dudes at the same time.
Yeah.
And then I transitioned into like clothing.
Okay.
And I started at Algonquin for marketing. I met some cool people, and I've always had a passion for clothing. And I had a vision I knew like social media was really going to take off and, be a real big platform for creatives. So kind of just mended everything together, and then eventually incorporated the music to it.
That's awesome. Yeah, you've really kind of blended so many different areas of creativity so it's music, video, clothing. I think you've done events too, right, in the past?
Yeah, I love running events. We've thrown so many parties. We love bringing artists to Ottawa. That's something I'm really passionate about. We recently did the OGZ after party.
Okay.
We chilled with OGZ and brought DJ Vision, his DJ, to... we did Room 104 that night, which was pretty cool.
Okay. That's in Ottawa, Room 104?
Yeah, on Clarence.
Nice.
I love learning from different creatives, and I just love bringing different artists to the city of Ottawa just to show them like, this is an untapped market.
Absolutely.
And like these kids and all these young people who like want to see all these guys come, and then eventually they actually make it over. They're like, wow, like this is crazy. Right? Yeah, this is crazy. Like come more. We need more people here, and so it's pretty much. Like that's where we've been.
Yeah, I love it. And it shows how much you believe in it, because you've kind of invested your time and efforts into creating BPMStudio, which we're recording in right now, right? This is BPM.
This is BPM.
Tell me a little bit about the space. I love this place is sound treated because you record audio in here. So
exactly.
I'm very, very happy with how this audio is sounding.
you.
Sometimes we're in large open space. It doesn't sound as good. So tell me a little bit about BPM, Matt.
So BPM started with my business partners, Jaden Moyes, Nathan Miles. We got James Rinn in the cut. And literally, we wanted to create a space where not only is it a recording studio, but it's a one-stop shop for artists and creatives. So we do have a video production area in a garage. We took over a Discount. If anybody knows what a Discount is, it's like the partner with like Enterprise.
It's a car rental shop.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it was all open space. We put up all the walls ourselves. We did all the sound panels ourselves. And you know, honestly, with the power of YouTube, you can literally do anything. So yeah, we wanted to create a one-stop shop and make it easier for artists to come in, record your music. Okay, cool. You're done your music. Go to the garage. Let's do a video. After that, we sit down in the conference room and create a marketing plan with you.
Wow.
So it's just like everything can get done in the house, and you don't have to worry about recording a song. After you record a song, okay, I have to go home, think about a music video, find a location. Like, you don't have to worry about any of that. Just get it all done here, and then we're actually like working hand in hand, and we've created like an artist development program where we want to build you as much content as possible, so you have less things to worry about.
That's really cool. So have you had any interesting people, like people that came through here that were memorable and stood out to you that you like?
We've like had Linda Sons come through, 2 times come through. You know, a lot of upcoming artists have come through. You know what I mean? The dudes I've worked with from like Das Hype and Hippie and CGB, DJ Mez has blessed the garage with his DJing.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm just trying to get more people in here. The tricky part is lately, it's like when I'm bringing people in, like the OGZs, and we've done Murder Beats, Walshy Fire, all that stuff. It's like, how do I convince them, you know, to come to the studio when they're just here to perform?
Right.
You know what I mean, like when they come to the studio, they're working.
Okay.
So it's kind of trying to figure that connection to kind of make it more intriguing for them to at least pop by.
Yeah.
So that's been something I'm working in the background.
Yeah, it's cool. I imagine it's still under development, right? Like this space seems like it's almost complete, but I know there's other areas of the studio that are still developing, right?
Exactly. The recording studio is good to go.
Nice.
Come in, guys, if you want to record some music.
Yeah.
We're ready to go. And then the garage, we're going to do some renos and add the green screen and some other elements like different sets.
Okay.
So we can, you know, make it easier for you guys to come in, do your music videos, maybe some short films, whatever it is. We just want creatives to be creative here.
Yeah. It's a cool space. When I walked in, you showed me around. I was pretty pumped because there's a lot of different areas that you can potentially create stuff in, which I love. So Matt, you and I go way back. We've known each other since high school. I kind of know, but I don't really know. Tell me like your origin story. Like how did you kind of fall into all of this?
So like I said, I'm from Ottawa. Grew up with a single parent. My mama held it down, and we grew up in. I was technically grew up in Kempville, which is like deep south.
Wow, I didn't know that.
And then moved to Kingston, came back to Ottawa.
Okay.
And then we went to the south, and then kind of stayed there.
Yeah.
And eventually we moved to like near Sawmill Creek area, and then developed some friendships over there. And then I went to St. Mark because she just didn't want me to go to St. Pat's or Pius. She just thought it was all sketch.
Yeah.
In the end, it's just like country kids mixed with the South Side kids. It was almost like twice as sketch.
Yeah, exactly.
Crazy, But and then luckily enough, St. FX was built, and back in it opened in 2009.
Yeah.
And I'm super thankful. It was like very tech based. So
absolutely.
And like shout out Mr. Scott. And like that's the Don. And
the Don.
That's true. He really pushed like having a 3D printer in I don't know, grade 10.
Yeah, it was like 2010 or something.
It's insane.
Like I started at that school with you. I was in grade 8, you were in grade 9, right? Yeah. It was the first year
of fresh school, brand new.
Yeah.
Bunch of different kids in one building, Obviously there's going to be fights every single day.
Oh my goodness.
It's crazy.
It was rowdy.
We didn't really technically become a school to the year after, when everybody kind of all the egos chilled out a little bit.
Yeah.
And then I've always had a passion for fashion. And then from listening from the Kanyes to the Kendricks to the McJenkins to Pharrell, and like the Snoop Dogg, like I'm very I love the West Coast kind of vibe, and I have a lot of family in California. Okay. So I've gone back and forth from there as well, and just really seeing what's going on, and it's really kind of created a passion for the arts. Yeah. And then from there, just trying to be consistent with every different avenue when it comes to the arts. And then I kind of just wanted to blend something together. So FFA was, kind of a concept at one point, obviously. And then we just wanted to, bring something to life where my whole entire goal is just to leave a trademark on the planet.
I love that.
You know what I mean? So
I remember seeing the FFA, like when you first created the brand, the stickers, like everywhere.
Everywhere.
In the bus stations, in the mall, and like
everywhere.
at school, probably in the washroom and stuff. Like
everywhere.
it was, you were pretty ahead of your time, like back then.
I was.
You were building a brand. Did you know what you were doing, or were you just kind of like?
I just kind of just went with it.
Yeah.
I knew I was a visionary, like very early.
Yeah.
But I don't know, I was doing stuff
Uh-huh.
and I wasn't really processing it at the same time, you know what I mean?
Right.
I was just like doing stuff like all the time.
Yeah.
Just like whatever came to my mind, I'm gonna do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then now, like over the years, I'm like, okay, like kind of going back to the stuff I've done and really taking it
Absolutely, yeah.
in, and you know, doing better at it. But I've worked in restaurants since I was 14.
Okay.
And I think that's something that's really kind of worked with my my work ethic.
Okay.
Because it's like fast paced.
Yeah.
You have multiple responsibilities.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, I've kind of got into the nightlife pretty early. I worked at this bar called Ritual.
Okay.
When I was 18, which is like one of the OG bars or clubs, I guess you could say, in Ottawa, where an upcoming artist would go to that venue for like the first time, either in Canada, for sure their first time in Ottawa, and they would perform. Like I saw Post Malone. He had 3 songs.
Came through there?
3 songs.
Wow.
And, you know, this is when SoundCloud was popping off. So, you know, he does 3 songs. He had like White Iverson, Too Young,
yeah,
and like something else. And then at the end of the set, he's like, who wants to hear White Iverson again? We're like, for sure. This is what I became, you know?
That's crazy.
So, yeah, and saw DJ Drama. And then that's kind of around the time where I kind of, FFA kind of came to light and people started identifying me as the dude from FFA. And I was like, okay, this is becoming kind of real.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, I went to the Gong and then kind of met like a good group of people who, you know, believed in my ideas and wanted it to come to light. And then, you know, honestly dropped out of school because I was working at the Ottawa warehouse every day. So I was kind of like turning into a vampire when I was working like 5 to 3 o'clock in the morning.
Oh my goodness.
You know what I mean? So my whole entire like routine was all over the place.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to dedicate my time into this. And then every shift, I'm either rocking my clothes, the staff is rocking my clothes, I'm talking to customers about what I do, throwing parties, and then really just everything started to really blow up from there.
That's amazing. You really made a lot of noise in the city. And FFA has really, I feel like from an outsider's perspective, like I'm seeing you wear that sweater. It's a dope sweater, by the way.
Thank you.
But it's cool. You kind of like leveraged the event space and your network in the restaurant industry to kind of blow up that brand, and now it's brought you to here, right? Like It kind of was a stepping stone, right?
Exactly.
Did you imagine this when you started FFA, or did you not really not know which way you were going?
I did. The goal was I wanted to live in a spot where you know I could like, you know, live either like near downtown or somewhere downtown where people could come through, hang out. You know, there's no rules, where everybody can just be them. You know what I mean? That kind of really got pushed and inspired by working at warehouse where we had no uniform.
Right.
And everybody could just wear kind of whatever they wanted to wear, which helped people express who they are. And I feel that kind of takes off like a door and makes it a little bit more easier to kind of freely think about what you're trying to do on this planet.
Nice.
And then from there, I knew after I got the spot, I was like, okay, cool, I did it. And then I'm like, eventually I needed to get a studio going, but I didn't know how it was going to happen.
Okay. And
my whole thing is about just organic growth and just, you know, meeting the right people throughout time. And then when it clicks, it clicks. And if it feels right, it feels right, you know, and opportunity knocks at the door, you should take it, you know? So even if it doesn't work, you still did it. And that's my thing.
And now you're here.
Now we're here.
And the reward for hard work is more work.
It's way more work.
Yeah, it's way more work. That's one thing that really, like, I would reach certain milestones that I've set out for myself, and then I'd get there, you soak it all in, whatever, and then you're like, oh crap, like, I have like twice as much work to do now.
So much more responsibilities.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm down, and I'm like super down to do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's a lot, you know. And
it's cool.
Being an entrepreneur, it's different, and you know, you got to be hungry. You know, you have a good head on your shoulders, and you know, you're gonna have your up and downs, but you know, you got a good team. You got to do like whatever kind of like mental,
absolutely,
things you got to do for you, like the gym or eating well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like whatever it takes, like just you got to do it for you.
It's crazy how much you have to do that's not the actual work that you're doing.
Exactly.
Like you said, gym, eating well, sleeping well, all that stuff. Like
Mhm.
it makes such a big difference. And I've struggled with that so much in the
For
past.
sure.
Like
Me too.
not knowing where the limit is, burning myself out, and then just
Exactly.
being like poop. So that was actually like one of the motivations behind this podcast, is in times where you're burnt out or creative energy is depleted,
Mm-hmm.
what do you do? What do you find yourself doing?
I guess I rest.
Mhm.
You know, like I've had times like even like we just did our first Halloween event. And
Okay.
that week alone, like I was doing 3 hours of sleep. You know,
Wow.
just wake up early as I can, like
Yeah.
9:30.
Yeah.
Go to the gym, come back home, go to the stew, do our work.
Yeah.
You know, just late hours and repeat. And I did that for like a week and a half.
Mm-hmm.
The event was over. Halloween was over. Tuesday rolls in. I'm like, okay, I'm about to crash. I gotta chill, you
Yeah.
know? And then, you know, you get a little sick, you
Yeah.
know? And like your body's telling you, like,
Mhm.
you know, you need to chill out. So
You'll learn.
sleep first.
Mm-hmm.
From there, get back into the routine. You know, I'm constantly just, you know, watching like new videos and, you know,
Mhm.
seeing what the big guys are doing and, you know, like learning from them because there's so much content out there and we have it at our fingertips. Like,
Yeah.
why not take advantage?
Would you say there's too much content?
There's a lot of too much content.
Yeah.
I like dodged TikTok for as long as I could.
Me too.
And now I'm like, some days I'm like just scrolling. Like it's insane.
Yeah. I
But-
feel like I'm like doing drugs when I go on TikTok.
It's crazy.
It's like electronic drugs.
Literally.
It's entertaining. It's extremely entertaining.
Super entertaining. And like I need it, you know, to a certain degree. But
Yeah.
then like my phone, it's gross. Like I won't lie, I spend like 9 hours of like what do you call it? Screen time.
Screen time.
You know, and like 9
Wow.
hours of my day.
Wow.
I'm not up for much longer.
Thank you for telling the truth, though. I feel like most people wouldn't even admit that. They'd,
I'm like,
they'd
yeah.
subtract 5 from that. And it's
Yeah.
like, 3 hours.
No. I'm on it. But like, you know, I like to say most of it's for work to a certain degree.
Yeah,
You
it's
know.
inspiration. It's a blurry line though, like of you're getting inspired by the content on there
Exactly.
and you're consuming it for entertainment. But it's like from a content, you do content creation. That's part of your business model. But like TikTok's such a crazy, powerful platform for like reaching an audience that doesn't know you exist.
Exactly.
So like my dilemma is always like, okay, I want to learn how TikTok works. I want to post things on TikTok.
Mhm.
Then I get lost in TikTok.
Exactly.
So and it's like crap. So it's very difficult.
Exactly. And you lose that time, and like all you
Yeah.
have is time.
Yeah,
You
all you
know?
have is time.
So it's like trying to find that balance,
Mhm.
you know, and like trying to make new rules for myself. Like,
Yeah.
if I'm at the gym, you know, like okay, like get off your phone, just
Yeah.
bump your music and just work out.
It's a
know?
good one. It's
You know?
discipline, right? Like
Yeah.
you develop that discipline over time.
Exactly.
And I mean, it's you're pretty early on, and it's good to be working on these things at this age. Like, how old are you now, Matt?
27.
27. Nice.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah. So that's pretty young to do what you've done.
Yeah.
Is amazing.
No, honestly, I appreciate that.
And this space is really cool. Like I know
Thank you.
you can't really see much on the video, but there's like a recording booth over there, sound panels all over. This is like a really cool looking thing.
You need to get the Raven.
Yeah. What exactly is this? What exactly is this
So,
thing for?
2-screen monitor, and
Mhm.
it's for the engineer to record the client.
Okay.
So on one side you can have the Apollo Twin DAW on one screen, and then they have like, let's say if they're using Pro Tools or
Mhm.
Ableton, they have it on the other screen, and then you have two of them going at the same time just to make sure the levels are good and making
Mhm.
sure they're correcting the beat or correcting the vocals all at the same time.
Yeah.
So it's nice because, you know, it's editing videos and whatnot.
Yeah.
It's nice to have double screen or like a big screen.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Just makes it easier to see everything at once.
That's cool.
So the double screen really comes in clutch.
And I like how there's a window over there.
Yeah.
It's like a proper recording studio. That's
you know,
awesome.
hype up the people. We
Yeah,
kind of learned like
absolutely.
windows were kind of bad in studios, but it's nice.
It's kind of cool, especially because I imagine if people come in here, they have like their crew with them and like,
Exactly.
they're recording and they're just hanging out, right? It's a creative session,
It's a
right?
full experience, you
Mhm.
know, and like I love it because you almost you leave the outside world
Yeah.
and you're in the studio,
Love
you know, and all that matters is getting those songs done.
Yeah.
And if you're here with like your manager or your crew, whatever
Mhm.
it is, like you're hyping up your guy who's in the booth
Yeah,
or
exactly.
your lady, you know what I mean? Like you're just doing your thing.
Yeah.
So I love that, and I love seeing people like feel inspired and get hyped. From,
Yeah.
like, you know, listening to their own vocal.
It's pretty crazy. You can see you see a fire light up inside a
Yeah.
person. I imagine they come in, they're a bit maybe they're cold. It's cold outside. They warm up. They don't know who you are, and then over time, it's kind of like this conversation, right? Like we both had a full day. It's the evening right now. You come in. And then as the words flow and as the energy flows, do you find like you just see fire, and then people come out of their shell.
That's
right?
it. You catch a flow because people are a little hesitant. They don't know what's really going on. They've never been here before.
Okay.
I've talked to them a couple times, and then they see like how comfortable it is here. And our engineers are A1. So my biggest thing is just having people leave with a product after.
Nice.
I think that's like the biggest thing. It's just like, wow, like I just did that.
Yeah.
And I'm just here to motivate you. I'm just your hype man.
That's awesome.
I love
it. So basically, people need like zero prior knowledge of anything. If they have any sort of music, like vocal talent, that they want to express, they can come here.
Exactly.
And you can connect them with beats. Like, is that
we got beats on hand?
Yeah.
We have some vocal trainers on hand, and my whole thing has just always been like a one-stop shop for anything I do.
Yeah.
So I want you come through me, you come through the studio, you skip like a bunch of levels to be where you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
But like for somebody who's, like experienced or at the medium level, then they're just going to fit right at home.
Nice.
You know what I mean? So I don't know, it's like kind of like, bouncing a basketball, just keep doing it and then eventually it's going to work out.
That's cool. So I know nowadays the modern world with content creation, like the way we consume and produce content, has it, like, what are your favorite things about modern music production, modern content? Like, what do you love about it? What do you maybe hate about it?
I love the education part of things. I felt like when we were in high school, there's certain tools that we had access to.
Okay.
But I feel like in the modern day time, like there's so much other things that you can, get your hands on. And, there's people who are willing to give up free knowledge, which is insane.
Yeah.
And that's what we've kind of incorporated here on the Instagram page for BPM.
Yeah.
You check it out, you'll see that we're giving out free tips and tricks on how to be a better artist.
Yeah.
And then from there, like there's just certain things like a Spotify pitch. For the longest time when I was making music, I was never pitching it to Spotify, which means like you go on Spotify, you upload your song, and you send it to the editorials so they can get it onto a playlist.
Okay.
And that's for free.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you just email them? Like
you go to like your artist page, like so you have a Spotify page or a Spotify account when you're listening to it.
Yeah.
And then if you're an artist, you have an artist Spotify account.
Interesting. Okay.
And then when you go on your web browser on your computer or your laptop, you have an option to pitch it to them. And you should give like 4 to 5 weeks before you drop it. But then it literally costs you nothing. You give a breakdown of like what the song's about, what inspired you. And then if they like it, if they like the song, you have a chance of getting into a playlist.
That's incredible. I wonder if they have that for podcasts too.
I'm not too sure.
I'll look into it though, because the way these podcasts are distributed is through Anchor FM, which is owned by Spotify.
Okay.
And then it's hosted on that site, and then it gets distributed to like Apple Podcasts, Google, all the other stuff. Okay. But I'm gonna look into that. I'm gonna see maybe there's playlists and stuff because there's so much content out there. Right?
Exactly.
That's like I feel like most people don't even know that you can do that.
Exactly.
That's cool.
And that's the whole thing. We're just like, okay, cool. Like, let's find out all these crazy new tools that you can have access to.
Okay.
And just give it to the people.
Love it.
Like why not?
Yeah.
And we, especially here in Ottawa, we deserve it. There's so much talent here.
Absolutely.
And unfortunately, but like fortunately, like we're in between Toronto and Montreal. So sometimes it works out where we've had ours go to perform in Toronto and they're on their way to Montreal and we're like, hey, listen, like, you want to come here? I'm like, why not?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But then they have no idea what Ottawa is, so they just skip it without even like knowing what's going on.
No one knows it all. In all my travels, like outside of Canada and America, like you tell people where you're from. I'm from Canada. Where are you from? Toronto, Montreal. No, I'm from Ottawa, the capital. What's that? No one knows what it is.
No idea.
But I think that's like one of our greatest advantages in building anything in this city, right?
Exactly.
Because of the fact that it's like being developed and it's like it's not at Toronto, Montreal's level yet, but I think it's going to offer so much of a different like experience for people. And
exactly. I think it's like the mix of like a government city where 80% of the population works from 9 to 5.
Nice.
Which is crazy.
That is pretty crazy. I didn't even know that.
So
makes sense though.
It'd be cool, for those 9 to 5 people, if we could get their attention and show them like how creative that small 20% are.
Yeah.
And get them involved. And then I feel like other people who are on the 9 to 5 life would relate to us, because we're in a realm that they may want to be in or they don't know about. You know what I mean?
Absolutely,
So
yeah.
we're just here to show them, at least give them like a vision of like what we're doing.
Yeah, it seems like it's one of those things that's like unattainable, but I love to see someone that I've known for many years, kind of grow into doing what they want to do, because it just reinforces me that to say like I'm kind of doing the right thing, or like by just following it.
Yeah.
And it's incredible, and it's I hope it inspires other people who are
100%.
thinking about it.
Yeah.
Because it's a good time.
100%.
Yeah.
And like nobody said this is going to happen overnight.
No.
We worked with St. John pre-COVID in 2019.
Okay.
He came down to Ottawa. He liked one of the videos that we did,
Mm-hmm.
reached out. We sent him the video. We told him we're going to Miami for Rolling Loud. He said he didn't really need us. James and I still went.
Yeah.
And then they hit us up last minute, like, yo, we need you guys.
And you were already there?
And we were there.
With your cameras and everything?
Nah, our other partner at the time had the camera. So we had to go to a Best Buy, buy the camera, and then meet these guys at the mall.
That's amazing.
And then you just don't know. And then this guy's been doing this for 10 plus years, and he's finally making waves. He's being managed by one of the biggest guys in the game, Biggs from Rock Nation. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And like it didn't happen over time. It didn't happen overnight. It took time. So, there's no time limit to this. Everybody, I feel like we live in an age where people have all these expectations. Like, I have to be a certain age to be married, or I have to be a certain age to have a kid, or I have to be successful by a certain age.
Right.
It doesn't really matter. As long as like you do what you want to do consistently, you'll get it.
Yeah. We're kind of like blending out of that old school mentality of like the timeline of a life. It's like high school, post-secondary, job, family, and then there's like another 70 years to go. It's like,
and you just work till you retire.
Yeah, and I still I just turned 26 and I still feel like a child sometimes.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
Not necessarily I feel like I know nothing. I feel like I know nothing. Every time a year passes, I've learned so much, and on the other hand, I'm like, I don't know anything.
Exactly.
What just happened? Just blinked and the year's over.
No, 100%. When I turned 25, I realized, I'm like, man, I got so much to learn.
Yeah.
When I was like 22, I thought I knew it all. And then I'm like, I ain't know shit.
That's crazy. It's crazy that when I was like 18, I thought I knew everything. Like, I was like, I know everything. I'm an adult now. And now I'm 26, and I'm like, who's that guy?
Who is that guy? Yeah. Like, I literally just try to humble myself out.
Yeah.
It's like,
that's funny.
Just trying to, every day is a new day.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just like thankful.
It's the I guess the length of it, right? The process of building something is, I'm typically a very impatient person in like day-to-day life, which I'm always trying to work on and improve. But it was, I feel like I've been conditioned for everything to be fast. We grew up in like fast pace, like internet consumption and media consumption, and just everything fast. And I feel like that's bred kind of like this impatience in me, which I'm trying to work on. Yeah. But it is true. It's like if you want to build something that you want to do for a while, it's got to take time. It has to take time.
You need a base.
Yeah. The foundation. Yeah. You just got to, I see it, the way I like to view it is like you're building like a brick wall.
100%.
You're going to lay the bricks.
Yeah.
Brick by brick by brick by brick.
Brick by brick by brick.
Brick by brick.
They all count.
Absolutely. And this conversation is a brick. It's an important brick.
100%.
And I'm pumped about it.
Yeah, me too.
I also love having conversations with these microphones on.
Yeah, they're nice, man.
Because it's like you control your audio levels. Because when you speak, how everyone says like when they hear their voice recorded, they say it sounds weird. Like, I hate my voice. I don't know the exact science behind it, but that's because when you speak out of your mouth, it vibrates through your head and you hear it in your ears. You hear it through your head and then into your ears as well. When you hear it out of a speaker, you only hear it into your ears.
Yeah.
So this is like a combination of like hearing it from a speaker and hearing it from my vibration in my face at the same time. So it's quite satisfying.
No, it's nice.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah.
But yeah, man, I really appreciate you doing this because, I think it's necessary for all of us to kind of just communicate, talk, and share ideas because, it's growth.
Yeah. We're more connected than ever, but we're further away from each other than ever is kind of how I feel about it.
It's true.
Like COVID was definitely a big setback, I would say. It like came at a inconvenient time because like digital communication was developing crazy.
Yeah.
And then we're like, okay, I can't see anybody in real life. And then now it's like we're kind of rooted in this digital communication, but it's like everyone's still hiding themselves or hiding who they are. And I don't know. I want to kind of break out of that. And
you can't blame people for being in their own pocket, but it's necessary to get out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, I feel like everybody's anxiety levels like spike through
for sure,
during COVID. But you know, you just gotta do it.
Yeah.
You know, just fight through it.
Gotta move forward, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nice, Matt. So I want to ask you, what do you like find you draw creative energy from? Like, what in your life or in your experiences, like, lights a fire inside of you?
I just wanna be successful for obviously myself, but you know, I'm just thankful for my mom, my sister. I just want to take care of them, and you know, they're both very hardworking.
Mm-hmm.
My sister's a pastor, actually like a reverend.
Wow,
she's on a whole different level.
That's incredible.
It's crazy. And my mom, you know, she came straight from Uganda.
Yeah.
Did Europe, did Cali, then came to Ottawa. You know, she's worked so hard for us. So those two are like my motivation. I want to make sure like they're good.
Yeah.
You know, plus like my nephews and my nieces, like that's like the next gen, and like, you know, chilling with them and seeing like how their brains work, and almost like little android kids. You know, it's like super trippy. But my whole goal is to, you know, create an empire where, you know, I've done like what I love, and you know, through different avenues that will, you know, push positivity and sustainability, but also, you know, take that time to make sure they remember who they are, because, you know, especially with culture, you know, being, you know, having our parents from different countries,
Yeah.
you know, we get lost in this whole North American kind of lifestyle.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I feel like I want to, you know, take that time to keep pushing like my roots, and, you know, take that time out of my life to make sure like they will always like remember like where they came from.
That's cool.
So it's kind of like what fires me up. And then
I love that.
I just, you know, music is just international. So I'm just very thankful. I'm in, like in the music field, and sound, and, you know, frequencies, like that stuff is key. So that's, as long as I keep doing that, I'm pumped.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Your nieces and nephews must think you're a really cool uncle, eh?
Yeah, I try.
Yeah. Have they been here? Have they visited the studio?
No, they all live in like the GTA.
Okay.
Yeah, so everybody's kind of out there. So I gotta, you know, and I want to, you know, be able to go see them as much as possible too. So
yeah,
just gotta grind and be able to do all that stuff.
Nice. That's awesome, man. I'm just gonna pull up my phone here. So, what, like? Okay, before I go into this question, I have another question. I understand you are also like a musician yourself.
Yeah.
What kind of music do you do, and like, how did that even start?
It started, you know, back in high school with we call our group just the OGs.
Yeah.
You know, these guys are always freestyling.
Okay.
All the time, and I'd always see them freestyle, and they like pushed me to freestyle. And eventually, you know, I'm like, okay, this is pretty cool. And then, you know, started managing like Black Irish, and then, you know, seeing all this stuff that, you know, he had to do to get out there. And eventually I just got inspired. I was like, you know, like, why don't I try this myself?
Yeah.
So, you know, I make more like rap, melodic rap / a little bit of R&B lately. The last song I dropped was called What I Want, produced by Runo, who is one of our engineers here. Fully produced here in BPM.
Love that.
And I was focusing on more of a kind of like a radio song, where I'm like, there's, you know, certain rules to the game, and like, you know, trying to get placements on the radio, trying to get placements eventually, hopefully in some TV shows. So I was trying to swear a little bit less.
Yeah, it's probably tricky to get into radio and TV.
Yeah, you know, there's like certain things you have to do. You have to make sure your music's clean. You know, you got to make sure your song's not too long. Nobody wants a song that's like 3 minutes anymore. It's too long because our attention spans are too short.
And there's like the actual lyrics themselves, right?
Exactly.
Like, what is the messaging, right? Is that scrutinized pretty heavily?
For me, it's not. I always, like, when I make music, I catch the hook first. I'm always kind of freestyling. So, you know, coming from a freestyling kind of background, it's helped me create a hook very quickly.
Okay.
And then from there, you know, I sit down and write and build around it. So I'm able to make songs a little bit quicker, which is pretty clutch.
That's
you know,
cool.
But you got to make sure it sounds good.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So now I'm just kind of testing the waters with different stuff. Still on the melodic R&B hip hop vibe, and that's something I'm going to start with 2023. But I got a couple covers coming through. I did something for On BS by Drake and 21. Had some fun with that. And, you know, just remembering to have fun with music.
Yeah.
You know, so, yeah.
Like, not taking it too seriously all the time. Just kind of like doing it, and whatever comes out. Right?
Yeah, but with a plan at the same time.
Okay.
Because we just rolled out like a membership program here.
Okay.
So the artists will pay for a certain amount of sessions every single month.
Mm-hmm.
And then on top of that, my business partner and myself, we meet with you and come up with these different marketing ideas that you have, like that you should have.
Yeah.
And you know, you got to make sure you're active on your TikTok, active on the YouTube Shorts, and active on obviously Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and we just want to make sure the artist has as much content. So I'm doing that for them, but I gotta make sure I do that for myself at the same time.
That's the dilemma.
You
Like
know?
I've kind of faced that same dilemma of like I create videos for clients and then I kind of want to do it for my brand as well, and it's a tricky balance.
Yeah, and
You
then you're
need
almost
help.
like a hypocrite, you know?
Yeah.
And then they're like, yo, show me what you've done. And you're like, you know, like.
Yeah, it's
So.
good. It's good practice though, because then you have more credibility. I find when you have something to show for. But have you, like, I know some artists have made it pretty big from being songs within like TikTok and Instagram Reels.
Yeah.
So like, do you ever bring artists or bring your own music to like TikTok's music library? Like,
I'm getting into it more and more now.
Okay.
Yeah, like we were very Instagram based
okay.
for the studio and obviously for myself.
Mm-hmm.
But now I'm dabbling a little bit more into TikTok and
So it's in the Reels like library, like some of the songs. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
So I'm trying
That's
to
cool.
trying to find more like TikTok influencers and
Yeah.
see like how we can get involved because it
Yeah.
works, you know. And like I'm not here to make music to have like a like one song blow up and then everything's all good.
Mhm.
Like I'm doing it because I love music,
Mhm.
but there's people who do it and their one song blows up and it changes their whole entire life.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's pretty crazy.
That's cool.
So
So do you have a stage name?
I just Kyazze.
Kyazze. Okay.
Yeah, my last name.
Your last. I know that was kind of like your nickname in high
Yeah.
school. It's funny how it's spelt and pronounced
Yeah,
much
the
differently.
Kyazze.
Yeah.
The KY is pronounced as a CH, and
Kyazze. Okay.
people like look at me like, oh yeah, and I'm like.
And then they spell it like completely wrong.
They're like, how? And I'm like, yeah, I'm Ugandan. This is my name.
Yeah.
This is what I was told. You
Yeah,
know,
it's like I picked this myself.
like I didn't just make this up
Yeah.
at home. You know,
That's funny. Matt, do you have like? Is there anything you struggle with? Like anything you find yourself like struggling with, or constantly trying to improve within yourself or within your work?
Organization
Mm-hmm.
always kind of have a tricky balance. Tricky thing with. We use Notion, which
Okay.
has really helped us a lot. It's a very good platform where you can keep track of like all your work,
Yeah.
scheduling, all that good stuff, and
pretty
that's where
cool.
we build our program for our artists
Okay.
through that. But I do have a pretty good memory.
Mhm.
So, if I talk to a client, like I do have, for the most part, will remember, but it's just like constantly putting in my notes, if a quick idea, put it in my notes, just like
Smart.
just making sure I keep tabs of everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then, just trying to learn more and more about the business and, just kind of retaining as much information and like also that, and, sometimes I take too much on my plate and,
Yeah.
that comes down to me working too much and burning myself out and
Mm-hmm.
not giving my best work. So my whole thing is kind of, when I'm redeveloping FFA right now, just kind of simplifying like what we actually do and making more sense of it.
Mm-hmm. Is that is the FFA redevelopment? That's kind of, it hasn't launched yet, right? You're
No.
still working on
Yeah,
it.
still working on it, but
Yeah.
we're gonna be back into. We originally were like I registered it as a promotion company,
Okay.
so that's what we're getting back into our roots. And we want to be the one. Like we want to be one of the main hubs where people go to our site or our app and figure out what's going on in Ottawa,
Okay.
because we're either there or we're aware. I find a lot of people in the city are doing a lot of cool events, but there's just so much where it's hard to keep track of everything that's going on.
Yeah.
So we're gonna take that responsibility to provide that information on our platforms and let people know about cool creatives like yourself, that like what you guys are doing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And like keeping people in the loop is what we really want to do.
Yeah.
And then that'll come down to kind of creating our own cool shows at the same time.
That's sweet.
But yeah, as a whole, we are a promo company and we're here to keep people informed.
I like it.
know.
Far from average. Where where did it come from? I know like
We literally were like we were at Ryan's house and we were on like a whiteboard,
yeah.
and we started with acronyms. We realized, I feel like a lot of good companies just they start in like letters with like 3 letters. It's kind of like what we were looking for. And then far from average is just something I've always, thrived to be every single day.
Yeah.
And like, I love meeting people who are far from average, and people who realize that, it's cool to be outside the box. It's cool to be different. It's cool to try.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So why not? And then somehow FFA was kind of like, it just sounded nice.
It's got a good ring to it. Yeah.
And then I think the words kind of chimed into it from there. And then we found the logo, and then.
Did you draw up the logo like by hand, or did you kind of like digitally draw it?
I think we digitally drew it.
Digitally, yeah.
Yeah. Like, I remember the day, but like the whole process, it's crazy. It's kind of all happened.
Yeah.
It's like that.
And then now you're here.
And now we're here. So
it's crazy that one whiteboard put you in this chair today.
Yeah.
In like obviously indirectly.
Yeah.
But I sometimes think about how like every decision, everything you've ever done in your life has led you up to this point in time, which is just crazy because you could have made one slightly different decision and then you wouldn't be here right now.
Exactly.
You'd be sitting somewhere else potentially.
Who knows?
Yeah. That's cool.
But no, I'm forever thankful that everything that's happened has happened.
That's awesome, man.
I'm just going to keep going.
Yeah. No, I look forward to seeing what you can recreate with Far From Average, like beyond what you've already created.
Appreciate
And
that.
BPM is a really cool space.
Thank you.
I aspire to have, a studio like at this level one day. This is really cool. Thanks for letting us film here, Matt.
Anytime, man.
It's been really fun. We'll kind of finish off with, when, like, I want to ask you if you can share any insights from your experiences as someone who is far from average.
Well, like I said, like consistency. Just put yourself around people who are like-minded. Put yourself around people who, motivate you. Don't, like, negativity's never the answer. And if you have people who are negative or who don't believe in what you're doing, but you believe in yourself and you can do it, it's okay to shift. Sometimes you got to take breaks from people. Sometimes you have to just be alone and do you. So I find just surrounding myself with the right people has been the best thing I've done. And not being too worried about what people think. We live in a time where you can almost really can't say anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, which is super scary. But I feel like we need to continue to realize and remember, like, your thoughts are your thoughts for a reason. You know what I mean? And some are good and, some are ridiculous. But if it makes sense, it makes sense. And that's why I like working at the Comedy Lounge on Fridays at the Laugh Lounge and, seeing comedians go on stage because there's no filter. They're just throwing everything out there in your face, and people react, and like people are like all scared about it. But like, the conversation needs to happen. Yeah, you know what I mean. We're not talking about enough things, and a lot of stuff's being put under the rug. And I feel like it's really just kind of like that's what really scares people. Okay, because they don't know. So I think just having the conversations and just like spitting out your ideas, writing down your ideas, pitching it to your people, and getting that feedback, and then kind of growing from there is key. Grants, there's grants out there, and people need to apply for them. Just Google it. There's a lot of money out there that you can, apply for. Yeah. And you don't have to do this by yourself. There's help there. There's help out there, like Invest Ottawa. Shout out to them. They have a program called the Starter Company Grant, where, you have an idea, or you're in the middle, or, you say you're an expert, but there's still so much to learn. Yeah. You pitch it to them, and then you can get accepted to a program where, you have these like weekly meetings with different workshops and different people coming in. They pair you up with a mentor, and then you have more tools at your fingertips to kind of elevate your idea.
That's awesome.
So stuff like that, and kind of realizing, school is great, but it also takes time, what I mean, out of you. So like as soon as you're done school, or if you're not doing school, just look for the tools that are out there to push whatever you believe in. Yeah. So you don't have to do it by yourself.
That's awesome. That's pretty resourceful, honestly. And I imagine that resourcefulness of you is what took you to where you are. So
100%.
That's awesome, Matt. Thank you for sharing those insights. I know I know those would normally be shared, so I appreciate you, like sharing that knowledge and little secrets, I guess, but it really does come down to the person if they're willing to do it. And I think if anyone were to implement those things, it could be greatly successful. I've definitely learned a couple things from chatting with you today,
Appreciate
which
that.
I'm very grateful for. And thank you.
No, thank you. You got me back on my, my public speaking. Making sure I'm talking well and whatnot.
Choosing the words carefully.
Because words are powerful.
Yeah, that's something I wanted to try. Is to improve my speech. Was why I like to podcast, because it's like you have a long format conversation. I feel like in the day to day, like I don't at least have like many long format conversations with many people. So I like this long format. It's nice. It's nice, and it's we can really like peel the onion and like dive into certain topics.
Exactly. And the environment too.
Yeah.
It's just like we're like the places you've done them are nice and like they're calm.
Yeah.
I mean, like we all go out and have fun, but like people, if you're having fun and you're partying, like you're not gonna remember everything.
No.
You know what I mean? So it's just like doing this kind of things count, and they really do matter, because education is key.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Matt. Well, we'll wrap it up there. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for being here. Thank you for letting us use your space. Guys, check out BPMStudio in Ottawa for all of your music production needs. Matt would be happy to have a conversation with you about your vision and help you start in music. If you've wanted a sign to get into music or creative stuff, like this is it. So hit up BPMStudio. This podcast is also sponsored by Panorams Media. So Panorams Media is the company that I own and operate. We do video production in Ottawa, and we sell video production services specializing in automotive, real estate, and kind of corporate and aerial videography using drones. So for all of your video production needs, check out panoramsmedia.com. Thank you. And also TheCreatives. TheCreatives.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you for being here. TheCreatives Podcast is available on Spotify, Apple, YouTube for now. If there's any request for it to be available somewhere else, just let me know. And if you'd like to be on the show, shoot us an email at TheCreatives. So the Creatives was taken like with one.
Okay.
That's why it's the Creatives. It's also the Creatives on Instagram. And yeah, shoot us a message. There's also a Discord channel called The Creatives. I'll put the links to everything in the descriptions.
Sick.
And this is I kind of created like a Discord community with the goal of just having like somewhere where people could go and talk, bounce ideas.
Sure.
There's like a buy and sell page for like gear.
Very cool.
And eventually I do plan on doing like some like video events there.
Yeah.
Not video events, but like group calls where we can just all hop on, hang out,
for sure,
and just chat.
Very cool. Just getting into Discord too lately.
Yeah.
It's such a great tool.
It's a cool community builder. There's so many platforms.
Yeah.
That like it's a little bit overwhelming.
It is.
But we're on the way. I think we're on the way.
100%.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Thank you, my guy.
Thank you, Matt. It's been a pleasure.
Appreciate
and I look forward to seeing what more you can create.
Thank you.
You're welcome.